So, hello and welcome. Tonight we have again very much racing action here on Brands Hatch with Division A EGTM Season 3, the Manufacturer Cup. Today the first time with a co-streamer, with Austin. He already streamed many Formula 1 2018 races, and I'm very glad that we could recruit him here for the EGTM this season. So I say welcome to you, mate. Nice to have you here.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It is a pleasure to join you here in the booth for the European GT Masters. Very excited to be here, and first time I do this on GT Sport. I do have a little bit of experience, as you said, on F1 2018, but also back in the day on R Factor 1, not 2, no, the old one.
The old one, yeah.
But yeah, no, GT Sport, new. For me, a new game to cast, and yeah, very excited to be here.
Yeah, very nice to have you here. Yeah, we see here today Division A, so yeah, we can say a bit about this division. Yeah, we have here now in the picture right now Marcola, the overall winner from last season. Yeah, I think he's again one of the hot shots here today for the race win, I would say, because he can push his GTR, yeah, I think to the maximum. The music is loud. I have to look which music. Yeah, I see that there is running music. Why is there running music? I have no idea. So I hope that you guys could hear us, the entry what we made. So yeah, then here, like I said, we have Marcola, the overall winner from last season. Yeah, that means we will see many racing action here. So yeah, I hope that we see here a damage-free race. So yeah, let's see.
Brands Hatch isn't always the easiest track to do that. There's obviously some very narrow corners, some corners that I think you can't really go too wide through there. So if someone decides to be a little over eager, we might see a few, let's say a few paint exchanges, but let's hope it stays mostly clean and we do not see any kind of major incidents here. But again, I feel like it's a track that lends itself to at least some contact. Not too much, but some contact I think is pretty much unavoidable here if you want to make an overtake, if you want to make the pass and gain a position.
Yeah, I hear right now in the stream that there was music playing at the beginning. I have no idea why there was music playing, but yeah, again here, Bad German today. Maybe some people in the stream know him as Bad German. He's streaming on Twitch and he is now co-commentator for the EGTM. So I'm very glad to have him here in EGTM on Thursdays to stream with him together. And we have here Division A on Brands Hatch, one of the narrowest track, I would say, in the world. Here contact is the, how should I say it, in every race you will see here contact because of the layout of the track, very narrow, but there are many fast corners and no-look corners, of course, as well, like the Sennas. So yeah, we will see here very much racing action, and of course I'm pretty sure that we will see contact here as well. And yeah, we have here currently the 10 minutes of qualification, and the top 4 are going into the Super Pole. So yeah, what guys you think will reach the Super Pole? I am pretty sure that we will see Marcola and Psycho for sure in the Super Pole.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking very good for them right now, 1 and 2, but I think a 27.3 for Markola that might see him through to the Super Pole, but I'm not so sure that he will stay in first place, so he's going to have to improve that lap time. Psycho with a 27.6 also definitely has to improve. But right now, obviously, AP Meister and Cobra also with some very good lap times, very good position here. Both of them just 9 thousandths of a second apart. And then Psycho another 2. So the place is 2 to 4 right now within 11 thousandths of a second. That is some very, very close racing, and it seems like all 3 drivers are pretty evenly matched on pace. And I think the difference will come down to maybe who has better conditions on their second lap, and gets maybe a better run and doesn't have as much traffic in front of them. I think that's what it really comes down to for them towards the end, as Cobra is already doing a little slide into turn 1 into Paddock Hill Bend. Cut the grass on the entry just a little bit. It's a very tricky corner. It's renowned in the world for being a tricky corner, and he just caught his car there. But yeah, you have to watch out for that on the entry of Paddock Hill Bend of turn 1. You can easily lose the car there by cutting over the grass on the outside a little bit too much.
I have also to mention that we had, I think, in the qualification on Division B, we had times around 1:28.0, I think, was the fastest lap. 28.1 was the fastest lap in the qualification, so not the Super Pole, because then we see the soft tires, but somewhere around there we will see the drivers. In Division B, and in Division A we see already that we have Markola with a 1:27.361 on right now position 1, but Psycho is not far away, and I saw him also doing 1:27.1, so I'm pretty sure that we see here maybe a little change here in the qualification as well. But yeah, for that we have to wait.
Yeah, Markola just improved to a 1:27.2, so slight improvement there, not much, less than a 10th ultimately, but just makes his first place for now a little bit safer, and makes it a little bit harder for Psycho, AP Meister, and Cobra to catch him and get an even better time.
But you have also to see, if you see the gap between position 3, 4, 5 and also 6, 7, there are only 0.2 of a second between position 3 and position 6, 7 and 8. So the drivers are so close here. Position 8 is only 4.9 slower than position 3. So we could see here maybe the timing for changing the tires, or who from these guys changing the tires for fresh tires, and maybe hit one more lap before the qualification runs out of time. So maybe that can be the advantage to jump into the Super Pole, because we have only 4 positions for the Super Pole, and everybody wants to be in the spotlight for the shootout then for the pole position. So I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, not just that, not just who they want to be in the spotlight. Remember, there's also a point on offer for everyone who makes it into the Super Pole, and a second point for whoever wins the Super Pole. So even before the race starts, we already have 2 points on offer for whoever grabs pole position.
And De Rouge now go on to De Rouge. De Rouge currently on a new first position lap. So he's attacking now Markola's time. I'm now on a chasing cam. He's 68 thousandths of a second, only slower in the second sector. So let's watch what he can get out of this lap. And we have only 2 seconds left. So I think that Lichi will, final lap. So that's the final lap for the Ruiz as well, and he has to improve. And currently he is fast enough to jump into the Super Pole.
Yeah, he's just 1/10th of a second faster than his previous lap time. But he needs to carry it through all the way, and now he lost some time.
Yeah.
He's over a 10th slower now, so he's gonna have to find some time here in the last corner through the Clark curve right here, and that is a good run. Very much taking the exit quite wide, but is it gonna be an improvement? It is not. 21 thousandths of a second slower, and he will stay out of the Super Pole. So yeah, very unlucky for him there to not make it. Let's see if anyone else is still on a run. Seems like Bedsteadfa boy might still be on one. Nah, half a second slower. He's not gonna get it. I would be surprised. So that will be it for the first qualifying session of the season, and we're gonna see Markula, Psycho, AP Meister, and Cobra in the Super Pole.
I'm waiting now for Psycho, but Psycho only with a 36.2. So yeah, we have in the Super Pole, like I said already, Markula, Psycho, AP Meister, and Cobra. So we have Nissan, Mercedes, BMW and Nissan in the Super Pole. And yeah, I think it was a pretty exciting qualification, and now the drivers are changing, the top 4 are changing to soft tires, and then they will attack the pole. So let's see who is starting from pole in the main race. In the sprint race we are starting, maybe that's for information for the drivers, or for not for the drivers, for the stream, that we start in the sprint race with the qualification result turned for round 1. Usually we turn the championship standings around for the sprint race, but in round 1 we have no championship standings yet, so that's why we change the qualification standings and or results. But for the main race then we start with the result of the qualification and Super Pole. Also we start today behind the safety car, so we see the formation lap behind the safety car. Maybe that is good to mention as well for the stream, so that should look also very good, I think. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're waiting right now for the top 4 to I think get back to the pits and then go on to the softs and start their runs.
Currently I have opened the timing monitor that the stream can see the lap times all over. Yeah, we have only the best lap, I think. Yeah, we have here the best lap with 1:27.2, but I think we will see it a bit faster as well, because I saw that Giovanni, so Psycho, also did a 27.2 here. Maybe he had no completely free lap. But yeah, now we changed to the Super Pole, so now it should be allowed, yeah, to use the soft tires. And Cobra has already the go to start his Super Pole, but he's not yet in the grid. Now he's in the grid and he will start directly, I think, yeah. If I catch him.
Yeah, and I think very important here to note is that obviously on this out lap, you want to make sure that you're not overusing your tires already. I mean, these are soft tires, they wear out quite quickly, so you want to take this lap maybe a little slower than usual. Really make it an out lap and not drive it like it was a hot lap. straight out of the pits. You do have a little bit of time. You're not being pressed here for time. So take it a little slower. Don't overdrive these tires already, and have a good fresh set of softs for that one lap and make it count. That's very, very important. You gotta have a little bit of clutch in you. You gotta be, you know, in the moment. You gotta be there for that one chance that you have, because it's not coming back. It's this one lap that he's about to start in probably 15 seconds. This one, or he's gonna be fourth if he messes up, and that's something that, you know, you need to have the mental toughness to do so as he comes across the line to start his lap.
Yeah, but right now, Cobra is, from these 4 drivers who reached the Super Bowl, maybe that driver as a little bit as an outsider, because he has nothing to lose. He's on 4th position so or so, and he can only be attacking the one thing he can do here. I mean, all drivers will attack here very hard, I think, but he has nothing to lose. He's anyway on position 4, so he can fly on this lap as fast as he can through this course here. But yeah, like you said, also I was reading on our Discord, so maybe to mention as well, if you want to get in touch with our drivers and stay close and get the newest setups, for example, which maybe are not official, and also from our drivers here, then join my Discord. The link is in the description, so feel free to join there. And also to mention, because I read it on Discord, that the drivers driving in the Super Bowl a different transmission, which is burning in the outlap more fuel, that the car is lighter than for the fast lap. So here the drivers play with old tricks. And Cobra is now in the last corner, and then we have the first Super Bowl time with the soft tires, and let's see what time he can do here. I think it will be a 26. No, it's a 27.3.
Nope, 27.3.
Yeah, but he's usually not the fastest Super Polar. I think the fastest driver is AP Meister, Psycho, and Marcola. Usually these are the drivers in the Super Bowl who can drive really fast. And let's see, AP Meister now.
Speaking of AP Meister, now starting his lap. Let's see what he can do, where he can line up. I've seen a couple of, I wouldn't say mistakes, but a couple of corners where Cobra really didn't maximize the track, and you can see here, first sector AP Meister already up by just under a 1/10 of a second, so that's a very promising start for him. Now he just needs to keep it up through the other sectors, and you can see here already over a 1/10.
Yeah.
That's the good thing here about Brands Hatch. We have a lot of sector times right there.
Yeah,
pretty
that's
much
true.
after every big corner we get a new sector time, so it's very easy to see how the gap is developing. It's going down a little, in fact. So
yeah, because the GTR is fast on straight lines, and the BMW is more the cornering, the rotating car. So the BMW is fast during the corners, but it's not the fastest. See, on the corner sectors he's really fast, but on the straight he lost a few thousandths of a second. But I think we will see here the first 26.
Yeah, I didn't see a mistake in the final corner in the cloud curve here, so this should be a 26. Doesn't take the most narrow line on the straight, but still half a second. That is quite the gap between Cobra and AP Meister, so very good lap from him. Now Psycho will be next. He is starting his lap right now.
Also the first corner, very important to get here the maximum out on the corner exit, trying not to hit the sand but feel the sand on the wheel. Somebody told me if you don't feel the sand there, you're not fast. So
yeah, and if you're in the sand, you're also not fast. But yeah, the sand here can really slow you down, or does really slow you
Yeah.
down if you not just feel it or touch it, but you get in there. It's incredible how much it slows you down as Psycho runs wide onto the grass. Well, that's not going to be fast, is it? Definitely lost some time there.
Yeah, and he has a penalty,
gets
yeah.
8/10 penalty. Oh, that is unfortunate.
And again,
Oh, and a slide.
completely, yeah,
Oh
he
my.
completely, yeah.
The silver lining is he did lose 2/10 of his penalty.
Yeah.
But I think he lost more than he gained from that. So that is a super pole to forget here for Psycho, really. This is going to be maybe 28, even 29? Oh my, yeah, this is
29-5.
29-5. Oh my.
It was,
That is not what he
like
hoped
you
for.
said, a super pole to forget. But now we have the Matador, the winner, the overall winner from last season. He's the fastest in the field right now, and he was the fastest in previous. I think he's also the fastest, and we will see here already he's completely using the track wide here on this narrow track here, Brands Hatch, and he's nailing the first sector. So look how much he's using that track, and he have 1/10 of a second down to the very good first sector from AP Meister.
Yeah, it seems to me with that level of precision from Markula, he could just as well work as a surgeon, probably. That is just absolutely extraordinary. Just maximizing the track width to almost an extreme extent. And it gains him a lot of time, as you can see, a quarter of a second here. Yeah, a quarter of a second. Just absolutely incredible. And we still got half the lap to come here. Pretty much, not completely, but yeah, that is remarkable. And let's see what the next sector time says. It hits it perfectly here through the Sheen curve, now into Sterling.
He lost a bit, but still.
No, he gained
Okay.
half a tenth.
Yeah, but that's Markula. He's not losing that in the last sector. The only thing is that he goes too wide and into the sand, but no, he's getting the super pole here. That's super pole for sure. I tell you that. That's a low 26.
Keeps it narrow here. That's gonna gain him a little bit. Oh no,
yeah.
he's still lost in the last sector,
yeah.
just a little bit. But 26.5. That is a lap time to remember, and that is 2 points already in the championship for Markula, and everyone else, AP Meister, Psycho, and Cobra get 1 each. So the first 5 points of the championship have been given out.
He's continuing there where he stopped last season in the last race. He is the overall winner, and he's continuing here in the GT4 like nobody else. Very constant precision to the perfect. And yeah, we have here 26.5. So we are around, I think, 1 second faster than Division B. So you see the difference between the fastest of Division B and the fastest of Division A are only 1 second, and that's nothing in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, at that point it probably comes down to maybe consistency, being able to do the lap time or hit every corner in a way that you get a good lap time out of it. And you saw with Markula just how accurate he was in every corner. He just nailed it every single time. And that's what you get out of it. 26.5, just an absolutely incredible lap time. And yeah, that rightfully secures pole position for him.
I don't know if you have my stream chat open, but Mark van Hayes, yeah, 26.5, of course, it's very fast. And yeah, I think that it was obvious that we see something like that here. I thought at the beginning that Psycho was a bit closer there, but he literally fucked his super pole lap. But I think he still can do very much here in the sprint and main race. And after all, I have also to say that MINKIHL wrote here that Division B had the fastest lap time in the Super Pole with a 1:27.3, and yeah, that means only 8/10 of a not even 8/10 of a second we have here gap, so not even 1 second. So you see, we have here only 8/10 of a second between Division A and Division B, and I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and he's saying right now that Markula went pretty wide at Druids. That was something that I noticed too, and he says he would never do that. There is a risk that comes with it if you go wide there. Obviously, the grip on the exit there, if you go as wide as Markula did, the grip isn't there as much, but obviously if you can carry a lot of speed through Druids, it does gain you time, but it comes with the risk of spinning out if you go onto the throttle a little bit too early, and so that is the risk that Markula took, and he got the reward out of it in form of the pole position and 2 championship points.
So yeah, also to mention that we have here fan boost voting. So on our homepage, www.egtm.racing, you can vote every round for your driver that he gets a fan boost for the sprint race, so he can use then 3% more power for the sprint race. And that's, I think, a huge opportunity for every driver to stay close with the first row or even win a sprint race, which is normally not winning. And in this round we have with 53 votes, we had overall, I think, almost 200 votes all over for all drivers. And Castor Troy was the driver with 53 votes who won the fan boost for this round here for Division A. And that means that we see here Castor Troy, I bring him now in the picture. And Castor Troy is the driver here now in the field who is using the 3% more power. I will write him again that he's not forgetting to put his 3% more power.
Yeah, and 3% more power is quite a bit. I mean, if you look at his BMW, normally it has 394 brake horsepower, but with those 3% more, it goes up to 406, so 12 brake horsepower more. That can make quite a difference, and that definitely is a boost, as I mean the name says it.
Yeah.
But that can definitely be a help, and Castor Troy got himself that boost. So let's see how he is gonna do in the race with that boost.
Yeah, like Mark wrote now in the stream chat that in the Druids he would never try that to go as wide as Marco. Yeah, I think on a when you reach a certain level, I think you're not thinking in that moment that you go that wide there, but you accelerate out of a corner and you see coming the curb, and you are looking to that curb. I mean, your view is pointing to that, your eyes are pointing to that curb, and you see when you come fast there, you go over that curb, and then there is the grass. And very often, I mean, I see it on myself as well, you stay on throttle. If you are on a certain level, you stay on throttle and you try to hold the car, and if you fuck up and you spin around, then of course it was not worth that risk. But on that level, which is Marcola, I think, yeah, you take that risk because maybe you also used to that level.
Yeah, generally, if you're on that level and you have that kind of skill, that level of skill, you really know how to handle the car and how to handle the car in low grip situations like that when you run over an exit curb like that, where you have obviously lower grip. You know how much throttle you can give the car and still not spin around and maximize your speed through there. So I think it really comes with a lot of practice, with a lot of skill that you have to obtain. Obviously, talent plays a role as well. I think there's no denying that Marcola is a very talented driver, but yeah, it really is just also a lot of practice. I'm pretty sure he went through druids like that quite a few times practicing for this race. Yeah. And we are getting underway for the sprint race right now here.
Yeah.
Again, reverse order, so Tetsu Kabura is gonna start on pole position here. And Marcola all the way in the back from 12th place.
Also interesting now, how far can Casatroy go with his fan boost, and we go now in the first corner, and it got very close there because there is almost no space and some drivers are already in the sand. I think Psycho was already in the sand there behind, but he could hold his car. Now out Druids, and we have here Casatroy already on position 3. And here...
Yeah, and Lychee already went up into 2nd place, as in the back we've got a little bit of fighting going on, and
Deruige loses his car, I think.
Yeah, he's down to 11th, second last, only
and Bets That Far with a damaged engine.
Oh.
Let's see if we can see that. I'm looking faster.
And damaged front, and both,
I don't see it anymore.
Tires also damaged. So that is very, very unfortunate for him, especially in a sprint race like this. And for Deruige,
and there we have
well,
a crash. Who was that? Magic World was spinning out. I'm looking to that now.
Yeah, he's trying to come back on track. He doesn't have damage though. Deruige has rear left damage, and he's not the only one. AP Meister as well. The rear and the rear right for him. So I don't know what's going on. It might be that Bedsetfa Boy ran into the back of AP Meister. That would explain the front damage on Bedsetfar and the rear damage on AP Meister.
But in my opinion, everything works now for Casatroy. He has the most power of the first cars. The only thing which can stop him would be a damage, but he's going inside now, and Lychee and Casatroy were overtaking in one corner Tetsu Kabura, and that means now Casatroy goes on the outside. Here you can see the power of him. And now he's going to the inside. Is that enough? No, he has to wait.
Yeah, but Tetsu Kabura gets pushed wide by Kalam. That was a very forceful move here from Kalam. And he gets the position, but my, that was very, very forceful here. And I'm not sure that was the cleanest move that he...
no, he was not. He was not moving. He got crashed, I think, by Psycho. I looked at fast again, but I think Psycho pushed him into. Yeah, it was from Psycho. It was not an overtake from Callum.
Oh, okay. And Markula, look at that. Markula's already up into third place. Remember, he started last.
Yeah, because he stayed away from everything.
Yeah, that's very, very important. If you want to see some race strategy right here, stay out of trouble.
Just stay out of trouble with a mistake.
In the first laps. Yeah, and Lychee seems to be driving away with it at least a little bit, but Markula now with the attempt. He's got some slipstream, but remember the 3% fan boost for Castor. He should be able to defend this, but Markula around the outside. Is he going to be able to pull it off? Yes.
He has overtaken a fan boosted car on the outside. How crazy is that? That was a big cojones move from Markula against Castor there. And Markula already on position 2, and that's that which brings a champion into a race.
Yeah, and look at how he's closing in on Lychee. The gap was 1.5 seconds. Now it's down to 7/10, 6/10. He's gaining more and more with every meter of the track, really. Half a second. Oh, hits the sand a little bit, and Castor Troy needed to try to avoid him here. That was very, very close. Markula maybe already seeing the effects of a little bit of tire wear here. I don't know what happened there, but that was not a very very, very clean line that he took there, and that was...
Can you go through the field? Maybe we have some other fights as well. I'm now in the rear wing view of Lychee to see where is Markula gaining time and where not. Lychee won last season one sprint race as well in the same manner like here, but Markula was not that close behind him. It was on Monza with the Lexus last season, and now he switched to the Ferrari. And yeah, I think he's much more competitive like with the Lexus last season. He was not that competitive, but here now, let's see. But Castor has a bit problems to stay close to Markula, or he's still close, but yeah, Markula is flying here behind Lychee.
Yeah, it seems to be that it's only a matter of time until Markula attempts the overtake on Lychee. He shouldn't have too much trouble considering his pace. He's really just waiting for the opportunity, and Lychee needs to... Lychee already taking a very narrow line here through Druids.
Yeah, it's important in my opinion. You have not to be that much faster than the driver behind you, but you have to try to drive clean and get the exits of the corner, that you take as much as possible speed out of corner, and then it's almost impossible with the GT4 to overtake here. But of course, and Markula is now pretty close here to Lychee, and I look again to the rear wing mirror, and Lychee is already defending, and Markula will not try it again on the outside. No. Or? No, it's...
No.
And
yet.
What for a pressure Markula is doing here.
Yeah. He's all over him now, and Lychee, you said it right. It's pretty hard to overtake. We just saw that. Even with Markula being very, very close to the rear of Lychee, he was not able to overtake him. Had to... I mean, he tried, but he settled for second position for now very quickly when he saw that even the slipstream that he got was not enough to
I look fast through the field. Because we have here Cobra on 4, Desmo Rider from Slovenia on 5, then the Rouge with the Audi on 6, on 7 we have Callum, the first Porsche, then we have AP Meister, then Psycho, Magic World, and 11 Bedstead Farboy, and Tetsu Kupura, who started from pole position, now on position 12 right now.
Yeah, it seems to me that at least Bedstead Farboy and Tetsu Kubura were in the pits Maybe Magic World as well. I remember him having some kind of damage. He doesn't have that anymore, so I think he was in the pits as well. So that explains their position as P6 and 7. Kalam and AP Meister are side by side here, going down Pilgrims, dropping into Hawthorns here. And Kalam backs out of it, lets AP Meister go. Might be a smart move, actually, to live to fight another day instead of trying to battle here. As, by the way, both drivers have damage on the rear, and for AP Meister, the rear right, for Kalam, the rear left. So both drivers a little bit, let's say they have some battle scars, but it shouldn't hurt them too much. Obviously, they will lose time, but not as much as you might expect. Meanwhile, Lychee's still in front, but this is a three-way fight here between Lychee, Marcola, and Castor Troy.
And Cobra is also still there.
Yeah, Cobra is closing in as well. Yeah.
So it's almost everything about, is Marcola going now to the inside? No, he's not going. It's impossible to overtake there if the driver in front makes no mistakes. Maybe here is a corner where Marcola can dive into. No. So now it's important, a good exit for Lychee. I think he had a bit grass on the outside, but here's no room for mistakes, because if Lychee makes a little mistake, he directly goes into position 4, and Marcola, no. Marcola couldn't overtake here.
And a little bit of a slide here from Lychee. That is not what you want to see. Makes it hard on the tires for one. And we see right now the tire wear isn't as bad. We should be able to bring him to the finish just fine, but every little bit of
Castor
tire
Troy
wear can
into
be
the
really
grass.
important. Yeah, and slides back.
And Cobra goes into position 3.
Good avoiding action here from Cobra, taking a very wide line on the entry because he saw what happened to Castor Troy here.
And here attack now from Marcola against Lychee, side by side, and Marcola on the inside.
And he has the position.
And the champion is back on position 1. He's leading the race here from the last position to first to the leading position. How should that guy, who should stop that guy? Nobody could get the key where to how to stop this guy.
Well, I have one idea. Just let him win the first race, then he will have all the success ballast.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Which will then slow him down. I mean, that's the only way, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's also why we put in this championship success ballast, because then I think still also the fast drivers will have always success ballast then, because if you win the first race, even if you win the second, then you have still the 2% more weight for the next round. And yeah, we will see how this will affect the lap times for the next round. Next round is in 2 weeks on Catalonia with the GT3 cars. So because this is a manufacturer cup, that means that we see the same drivers next round in 2 weeks on Catalonia at Spain with the GT3 cars.
And look at how Marcola is driving away already. We're talking about 9/10 now within 1 lap. This was just 1 lap since he overtook Lychee, and already a second now. And he's gaining and gaining and gaining. My God, yeah, we really need some success ballast on him. Ideally right now, I think, but that's not going to happen. At least for today, he's going to stay ballast free. But if he keeps on doing what he's doing here, he's going to have some for the next race. Meanwhile, Cobra and Castor Troy getting very close to each other in 3rd place here, 3rd and 4th. So there might be something on the horizon.
Yeah, I'm on it. I think the only thing, or the only driver who can stop him right now would be a return of 5 Siegen, who won 3 seasons of the EGT3M. So maybe that's the only driver currently who can stop him. But yeah, he's not driving this season. But yeah, we will see in the future. Maybe next season we have him back.
I mean, I'm thinking of another driver who might be able to stop him, but I'm not sure that he's gonna. I mean, he's not gonna participate the whole season, but maybe he will make a guest appearance. I would love to see that. You know,
I think I know from who you are talking.
Yes.
He's also in my Discord. If you mean this person.
He's also a German.
He's also German.
We're gonna. You know, we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, Cobra, with a little mistake, he hit the sand here, and now Troy sends it down the inside, and he gets the position. That was a very nice move here from Castro.
But here, Cobra dives in. I get it, it's a very hard move, but still, he could survive that move from Cobra, and he's now in front, and we look if we can catch this overtake again. Yeah, it was right before the Druids, and here, yeah, and Cobra really tried again to dive inside, but perfect mate from Casatroy, and he's back on the podium here in this sprint race. Well done, mate. Very good move.
Yeah, this is what you need to do, not just in those sprint races, but especially here, and especially here at Brands Hatch. You need to be mentally alert to every time your opponent, the guy in front of you, makes even the slightest mistake as Cobra cuts across the grass.
And that means the Rouge is closing up.
Yeah. Cobra might be losing fourth place here.
And
down
the Rouge goes to the inside?
No. It's not there yet, but he has one more lap. And he has some slipstream right now he can work with.
And the Audi is fast and straight. Look, he's on the outside. Maybe that's enough here for the Audi. And he's going wide there.
They're side by side.
And side by side, yeah. Here on the outside, but here out of the corner, the GTR is boss mode, I would say. And here the Rouge again on the inside.
Yeah, they're again side by
Cobra
side. That
goes
was a
wide.
strong move. It was a strong move from the Dutchman here. He still hasn't given up, but that is really going to slow both of them down as they're still side by side. What is going on here? My goodness. And now he needs to get some kind of slipstream. He's not able to. He's still on the outside. Cobra, don't push him out. Oh my.
But very good defending from Cobra as well. We have to be honest here.
Definitely. And now it seems like the Rouge is running out of opportunities to overtake and get fourth place. So there's only 2 corners only left, and
Marcola in the last corner now. Congratulations to Marcola again here. What a race he showed here. Absolutely, he's showing why he went to the first place last season, or why he is the EGTM champion of last season. Congratulations also Lychee.
Oh, here's the final run from the Rouge. Can he make it to the finish line first? No,
side
Cobra
by side.
Just gets it. With 32 thousandths of a second between
Psychon 6, 7 AP Meister.
Keeps fourth place.
Desmo 8, 9, Kalam, Bedstead Farboy on 10. Tetsu Kubura on 11. And Magic World, I think, with a bit problems here during this race. We see 148, maybe he was in the pits or made a mistake there. Then on position 12, Tetsukubura now over the finish lane on position 11. And last but not least, will Magic World come here through the last corner now. And then we have the field. Yeah, we are missing 2 drivers, Sabalu and Crazy John. He will participate in the next round. So yeah, that's the field we are through now. Marcola again. So Marcola, Lychee and Casatroy on position 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and an old picture here. Victory for Marcola. What a race, mate. Well done.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was a really good start to the season, and we still have another race to come, the big race, the 45-minute, basically 45-minute race here around Brands Hatch. That was the sprint race, and yeah, we still have the endurance. No, it's not endurance, it's the main race. Sorry, endurance is only for some races where there is not a sprint race, but this is the main race now that we will come to. And my goodness, what a start it was. We're gonna have 31 laps now. We have a formation lap and then 31 laps for the main race. And yeah, Marcola getting himself the first 30 points in the race after already scoring 2 in the Super Bowl. So he's at 32 already.
Yep.
Which is incredible. But he's looking to get more, and he will start from pole position for the second one as well. So he's in the perfect position to get even more points.
We were also talking fastest lap, maybe that to mention as well. Fast lap from Psycho that shows what pace he could go here without the damage. I think that if he would come like Marcola through the field without damage, I think he could really make pressure to Marcola up front there. But yeah, we were also talking in the leadership of the EGTM about the form of Marcola, if he can continue like he did last season. But it looks like, yeah, what should we see here? What should we say when we see here the result of the sprint race? Marcola on position 1, 3 seconds in front of Lici, which done also awesome race. Then Casatroy with the fan boost with 5 seconds behind Marcola. Then on position 3, then Cobra on 4, very hard attack from De Rouge in the last lap, only 23 thousandths of a second faster than De Rouge. Then Psycho after his damage on position 6, there was much more to get in this race, or yeah, I think he's under his opportunities, what he can usually do with a position 6. And 7, AP Meister, Desmoride on 8, Kalam on 9, Betsefa Boy on 10, 11, Tetsukubura and Magic World after his incident. Tetsukubura and Magic were both with incidents, and yeah, they went from good positions to the bottom of the classification. But yeah, still we have 45 minutes main race with the formation lap start, and with the formation lap start we use also the nameless 01 as safety car driver. So we see here nameless with the safety car.
Oh, what a good looking safety car it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to calculate all the points right now, so that after this main race, I could then easily add it up, and we have the standings after race 1, or the provisional standings. So just give me a second here.
Also, we have a fair play score in the EGTM, so if you compete in the races, if you drive fair, you get much points for the fair play score and the drivers. And with the fair play score ranking, then we give the manufacturers then for the next season. So if you are ranked first there, you have the first choice for your manufacturer. I think that's the most fair way to give the cars to the drivers. But usually with our mode to give the cars to the drivers, I think it's very fair, because you can choose your first choice till your last choice of the 7 manufacturers, and usually the drivers got their first or second choice, and only one driver, I think, got the third choice. But yeah, next season we give it then the cars with the fair play score, so I think that's a very fair and nice way to say who can choose the car first. And yeah, we are waiting now for the host to set the grid and everything, and then we will start the main race here with the formation lap start behind the safety car.
Yeah, and I'm finally done with calculating all the scores. So, for now, Markola with 32 points, 8 points ahead of Lychee with 24, then Castor Troy with 20, Cobra has 18, Derouge 15, Psycho 14, AP Meister 11, and then goes down to Desmo Rider 8, Kalam 6, Bedset Boy 5, Tetsukabura 4, and Magic World 3. Those are the standings right now. And obviously the two drivers who aren't here, Crazy John and Subalu with 0, as they are not here, but they're gonna have to catch up in the next races. But there's still a lot of points on offer. For every race weekend where we have a sprint and a main race, there's up to 83 points you can get, and when there is an endurance race, you can get 104. So nothing's lost here just yet.
Of course
but
not.
A lot can already be gained.
The season is long. There are 8 races, so 16 weeks. Because we drive in a 2-week rhythm, so all 2 weeks we have our racing action here. So yeah, maybe also very interesting, we had to stop the registration only, I think, 3 hours or 4 hours after we started the registration. We had to close the registration because we had already too much registrations. So yeah, that's maybe also to mention here.
You know what that sounds like to me? Division C coming soon.
Yeah, the thing is, the problem is that we do not know if we would get enough drivers for I mean, we would like to have Division C, but that means, for example, that we need another streamer, in my opinion, and somebody who can stream without me, so that he makes his own stream on his own channel, because that means also that we have to make 2 division races at the same time. So yeah, that is much talking, but yeah, I planned also the Division C. But yeah, that's future. We have enough time to think about that. But yeah, Division C would be pretty cool. And I have to say, with 2 divisions, I almost know all drivers here. There are only a few drivers which are driving the first season, like Desmo Rider is one of the new drivers. Then Tetsukabura is one of the new drivers. And the other drivers I know all from seasons before, and I like all of them. That's like, I don't want to miss any of this driver. Like Bedstefa Boy also drove. AP Meister is one of my teammates in another league. Then Kalam, for example, also in my team. Then Psycho, I know him since the beginning of Gran Turismo. I was driving against him in FIA races. It's a very nice guy and also one of the EGTM stuff. The Nameless, also one of my team, is our photographer here in the EGTM. He makes the photos of each round. Desmo Rider, also a very nice guy. I write very much with him on Discord. And Lychee, my right hand for the EGTM, he makes the sheets and everything. And Tetsukabura is one of the new drivers. I don't know him yet that good, but also I think a very nice guy when I write with him on Discord. Yeah, Cobra, I know him since the beginning. Derouge as well. Castle Troy, also a very nice guy. And yeah, Markola, I think I don't know. I don't have to mention that I know him since the beginning as well. I drove against him 3 seasons of EGT 3M. And yeah, very nice field. I like all of them. I don't want to miss all of them. The same for Division B. And yeah, I'm excited every race week to have these races and stream the guys here. And I think if you look to the races, I think it's very nice to stream the guys here. Or what do you say? It's your first stream now with us here in EGTM.
Yeah, it's my first stream here, but I'm already having a lot of fun, and it's some very exciting racing, some very high skill racing, high profile, maybe not, but high skill racing. Very fast drivers, really good driving as well, good racing as well. So drivers mostly keeping it clean. Obviously, there's always going to be some incidents, and you just can't avoid it. But everyone tries to keep it clean. So you really love to see that, and very happy to be a part of this here. And I'm excited for the main race now.
Yeah, like Mark wrote in the stream chat, a happy big family. Yeah, it's like a big family. I mean, I know the guys now since a few seasons now, and like I said, I don't want to miss that many of the drivers. I mean, all of them are very important because without the drivers, that series would not exist. So you have to think in that manner as well, because without drivers, you cannot make a series.
Indeed.
So and now we see the formation lap now. In the pace car we have the nameless 01, one of the Division B drivers. And here we go. Division B showed it how to do it. But usually Division A makes it very good.
Yeah, and I think maybe for those that do not remember how the qualifying went, I mean, we had a sprint race in between, so Markula is on pole position. Right behind him we have AP Meister, followed by Cobra and Psycho. 5th place, De Rouge. Castor Troy with the fan boost in 6th place. He is, I think, a driver we have to look out for. He has the additional power, 12 brake horsepower more, that he can use all throughout, or that he does use all throughout the laps. It's not that he has to press a button or anything. He just has an upgraded engine with 12 brake horsepower more than he usually has. Then we have Bedstead, Faboy, and Desmo Rider behind. Then Lychee in 9th, Magic World in 10th, Kalam 11, and Tetsu Kupura in 12th position as the drivers are approaching the second half of the lap. And the Nameless is ready to go into the pits once he gets there. Here we go. The field is being slowed down now. We're going too wide behind the safety car. Everyone's trying to find their position here.
I think the drivers found their position now, so
yeah.
The Nameless goes into the pits now. And our drivers on the straight.
Markula is controlling the speed, and he is accelerating now, and we are underway for the main race here at Brands Hatch for the EGTM. I mean, he had a good start behind what seems to be very clean. Yeah, no one with any big incidents just yet. Not even a lot of contact, actually. And Markula already trying to get a gap early on, which is a smart move. I have to say, you want to do this early. You want to get a good gap early and be out of that slipstream range. That is very important, even in the quote-unquote slower GT4 cars, which are obviously not as quick as the GT3s. Even here, the slipstream does make a difference, and Markula has already gotten a gap that is big enough to distance Psycho out of that slipstream and not give him any help on catching up to him.
Also to mention now that we drive here only with 35 liters of fuel at the beginning of the race. That means the cars are way lighter now with fresh tires. So maybe we see faster times like in the qualification with the medium tires here now. So let's see.
Yeah, definitely possible. And I talked to some of the drivers, and they said with the 35 liters, that is the first stint is going to be a little bit of a fuel conserving stint. So,
Okay.
From what I heard from most drivers is that the two-stop strategy is the most viable one. We might see a one-stop if someone is really good at fuel conserving, but because of those 35 liters, it seems that a two-stop is the strategy of choice here. So lap 10, 11, and then lap 21, 22, something like that, and then to the end.
Yeah, but I think it's not about the fuel in that race. I think more who is the best in saving the tires, in my opinion. Who is the driver who is good to his tires and can save them as long as possible, because you can drive with a 1 pedal through the race, for example, but if you kill your tires, you're too slow even then. So maybe then 2 or 3 stops are then faster with always fresh tires. I think Markola have to pit the same amount of times like Psycho. So I'm looking forward to that fight between both of them, because I think that the GTR is a bit harder to tires than the Mercedes. But yeah, we will see. And we have 27.3, so Psycho again the faster driver, and he moved from 1.2 seconds to 9/10 of a second. So yeah, Psycho will be the hardest contender now in that race, and he is he's very good in strategies, in race strategies. So let's see what he's putting out of his repertoire of the strategies. I'm going through the field right now.
One thing that always, let's say, I wouldn't say confused me, but definitely wondered me is, that I always wondered about, is how there are not any kind of race engineers in sim racing. You have it in the real world, you have it in Formula 1, you have it in any racing series, really. So I'm really surprised to see that this still hasn't caught on in sim racing. And you just have a guy who's spectating, who's looking maybe at the stream, maybe he's on the server with you, maybe he's even there with you in real life. He's in your room, and just looking at, just trying to use the data and what he sees, and trying to tell you, okay, you go into the pits now, or try to conserve your tires, or something like that, or try to push, trying to give the driver instructions, because the strategy in a race like that, especially here now with 31 laps, excluding the formation lap, obviously, 31 laps, the strategy is very, very important, and it can win or lose you a race.
Yeah.
And you can see Psycho catching up even more. He already improved his previous fastest lap by another 1/10 of a second, so we're down to a 27.2 here, and I think he's gonna improve it even more, as the tire wear isn't really kicking in just yet. If you look at his tires, everyone's tires really, they are looking very, very fresh still, but obviously the fuel goes down bit by bit here, so we can expect the drivers to get faster with every lap, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a 126 rather soon.
But we see also that the BMW uses the most fuel, because you need a own technique of shifting for a BMW to save the fuel. Because if you look to the graph of the engine, you have to shift pretty early, because he has his Newton meters very early, and that means you can shift very early there, and you lose not very much time, and you save a huge amount of fuel. And it looks like that AP Master is not using that technique if I'm looking to his revs right now, because he's revving to the limit. And that's
it seems like Castor Troy is, though, which explains the difference in fuel between the two of them. So AP Meister really struggling on fuel here early on. He's gonna have to, he probably has to come into the pits first of all the drivers here, at least in the top 5. I don't know about Desmo Rider, he's also low on fuel already, but yeah, they're gonna have to go first here. And now Psycho with an attempt on Markola, but Markola shutting the door on him, staying in front.
And sorry that I cut you, but yeah, hello SVPH, hi Dom, hi chat, yeah, go Castor. So Castor has many fans here in the stream, I have to be honest. And yeah, hello Sub-Zero as well. Good evening to you, mate. Nice to have you here and that you pass by in the stream here. We have here the main race now of the EGTM with Markola, Psycho, and Psycho making really much pressure. Like I told you at the beginning, that Psycho usually is the hardest contender for Markola this
Meister
season.
already into the pits. AP Meister's already in the pits at the end of lap 5.
Okay.
That is very, very early.
Look at Castor Troy's fuel. Yeah, Castor Troy I think can go 1 lap later, and I think
and Tetsukabura as well.
Yeah, Tetsukabura I think is the second time in the pits. No, he's still in the pits.
He has damage. He has damage. Front and front right.
Yeah,
Psycho lost a little bit again. He's down over 7/10 now. After trying to battle with Markola. But I have no doubt that he's gonna gain that time again. 27.1 his fastest lap. And I wouldn't be surprised to see some of the drivers come into the pits, some more drivers to come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Maybe Psycho makes an undercut now. If he goes now into the pits taking new tires and driving then 1 lap with fresh tires as fast as he can, maybe he can catch Markola then on track when he comes out of the pits.
I think
and
the overcut
both are going to the pits.
Both go in.
Cobra also, and there's almost an overtake into the pits. Oh my god, that was hard.
Yeah, and Ben Boy and Derouge are the only 2 drivers who stay out. They have done some very good fuel conserving here so far. That might actually give him an advantage, because I think the overcut works better here because the tires are still not worn pretty much. They're still looking good on every car, on all the cars that have stayed out, which are, well, 2, Boy and Derouge. Their tires are still perfectly fine, but they have very low fuel. And then you look at Markola, who's in 3rd now. Look at his fuel, more than half. He's gonna lose some time here on track, so I think the overcut works better here for now. For both Boy and Derouge. I think they will gain some positions.
We'll see.
I would be surprised to see an undercut work here over the overcut. As long as Boy and Derouge are not fighting, but it doesn't seem that way right now. Over a second between the 2 of them. So that is not a danger. That is not a consideration for any of them. But
so, and the Audis will come now as well. Yeah, the Audis, I know that the Audis, if you drive them in the right way, you can go 1 lap more than with the other cars. No, they can.
Boy stays out.
Stays out. So maybe he played a bit with the mapping. Otherwise,
well be, yeah.
10 laps with that car, without going into the pits. I couldn't do that. I drove that car here on the track already, and I could do only 9 laps.
Well, he's in lap 8 technically, because there was the formation lap in which you obviously can save a lot of fuel.
Yeah, Mark, sorry that I cut you.
I always count.
Mark wrote in the stream chat that we don't talk about the fuel. Normally, I'm saying that we don't talk about fuel levels.
Okay.
Yeah, we talk about fuel levels when they're out in the first stint, like the beginning of the race till the pits. But if they're coming out with their strategy and yeah, we only show to the stream what fuel levels they have. But we are not saying how much fuel they took, because if a driver hears the stream and then he knows the strategy from another driver, and we are not doing that.
Okay. I apologize then.
No problem. You didn't know that. I haven't mentioned it.
Okay, okay. But Zephyr Boy, he looks very low on fuel. He needs to come in now. That is... If he can take that one more lap, I would be surprised. Yeah, he's taking the narrow line. He's going to come in. He's the final one now to come in. So that is everyone now who has served the piston. Let's see what the strategy is. The Rouge is out in P6 right now. So he... Yeah. I think he has overtaken a P-Meister. And I think he was in front of Lychee already. But... and Desmond Rider as well. So he gained 2 positions, it seems to me. So I think the overcut for the Rouge actually worked out. That's what it seems like to me. He's right behind Castor Troy now. And meanwhile, up front, Markola doing a very good job of driving away from Psycho. Remember, the gap was about 0.2 at one point. Now it's 1.5 seconds. And it seems like Markola wants to increase that even further. I mean, who could blame him? Obviously, you want to drive away from your opponent as much as possible and just, you know, have a calm race through the British countryside here at Brands Hatch and not be worried too much about a guy behind you. But, yeah, it seems like Markola is doing a good job at that. And then you look behind Cobra. We're talking 7 seconds here between Cobra and Psycho. That is a huge gap. So this seems to be a two-way or two-horse race here, really, between Psycho and Markola. But there's still a lot of time left, a lot of laps left to be done, and we're talking about now 22 laps that are still remaining. And that means that Psycho, if he wants to have a chance at overtaking Markola, he would only have to gain 1/10 per lap. And that's pretty much possible. That is something that I can definitely see Psycho doing. Even though Markola now has the fastest lap with the 1:27.1. He seems to be consistent as well. The 2 last laps, both 27.1s.
Yeah, Markola puts down the hammer now.
Seems off.
I think he wants to decide the race now. He wants to bring that gap, and he wants to break Psycho. Maybe he wants to break Psycho's motivation and bring him into a mistake, because Psycho has to push now like hell that he can go with these times Markola is doing right now. And of course Psycho is seeing the gap between him and Markola, but I know also that Psycho is really a freak when it comes to that he gets under pressure, and usually under pressure Psycho develops or getting in another level where he drives in areas where if you make very much pressure to Psycho, in my opinion, he's faster than Markola. And I think right now we have exactly that, because Markola made a huge pressure to Psycho now with his fast lap times, and you see Psycho answered also with a low 27 and was in the last lap faster than Markola. Maybe Markola overpaced the first few laps for his tires, because if we look to the tire wear, yeah, I don't want to mention the tire wear now, but yeah, look to the tire wear, and you can clearly see that maybe Markola overpaced the first 2 laps. But we have to look for the next few laps to see the tire wear then.
Yeah, so not only do we not talk about fuel levels after the first pit stop, we also don't talk about tire wear
Yeah,
or I
exactly.
guess the tire compound that they are on, right? Because obviously, if someone was on the
And
hards,
there's an
that would
overtake
also give
between,
away
or a fight
information.
between AP Meister and Desmo Rider. And AP Meister goes to the inside.
Oh,
No.
Desperado was on the grass a little bit there on the entry, but he held the car just nicely and stays in front of AP Meister. That was a close battle there, and AP Meister has to stay in ninth position for now.
And you see, Psycho only 1.5 seconds now behind Markula.
He's catching back up.
So the pressure, he puts the pressure which Markula put on Psycho before. He's throwing the pressure back to Markula, and he was a bit wide here on the on the exit of the last corner, and the car got a bit unstable. That shows how much under pressure now our German friend here, Markula, on the GTR is now. Because Psycho is coming with big steps closer, and I'm pretty sure when he's close there, he will try everything to overtake Markula. Like, you guys can watch last race Interlagos. Psycho and Markula was fighting like gladiators till the last lap of the race, and Psycho has overtaken Markula in the last lap in that race and won the main race. Amazing race from both of them. It was a bit like the same like here, and yeah, we see here, but still Cobra, very strong race here from him as well on position 3, so he's completing right now in the current state of the race the podium. And Casotroy again on position 4. He finished, I think, the sprint race on position 3. So again, a very decent result at the current state of the race. And the Ruisha on 5. So the Audi on 5 now. Let's see if he can get an advantage of his front-wheel drive car here. And Lici again after the 2nd place in the sprint race, the 6th place. Let's see where he's finishing here in this race, but it's definitely a better season opener for him than last season. And only 7/10, not even a second anymore. And I think that now is the moment where Markula starts to sweat.
Yeah, he seems to be struggling a little bit here, and he's constantly losing time. Every lap, ever since lap 10, every lap was slower than the previous one. So 27.1, 27.4, 27.7, 27.9. If he drops into the 28s now, I think he needs to bounce back here on this lap, and I think he will. But he is feeling the pressure, and he is starting, as you said, he is starting to sweat now probably, as Psycho is in the slipstream. Now he picks up probably just a tiny amount of slipstream, but it should be enough. Yeah, another 27.9, so not that much.
So right now I have
over the previous lap. So
technical issue here.
It really seems like
my headset
Markula
turned off. I have to look what happened.
Under heavy pressure here, and now we're down to 4/10.
So I hopefully have fixed it now. Can you hear me? Okay, my headset turned off. I think that the people cannot hear you anymore. I have to change the devices fast. So I think everything should be good now again. I think you should be able to hear us now. So we are back here in action.
Yeah, I hope that you can hear me again.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Oh, all right, fantastic. So yeah, I don't know if what I said before. Oh no, never mind. Psycho trying the overtake here. There is a little brush there between Psycho and Markula, but Markula stays ahead for now. But yeah, you can see if you look at the lap times, Markula just dropping every single lap, worse than the previous one, with the exception of lap 14. But that was only 13 thousandths of a second faster, so he is dropping pace quite significantly. With Psycho now right behind him, he has to defend, which will lose him and Psycho probably some more time. If I was Psycho, I'm, you know, not trying to give any hints or anything, but I would try to get past Markula right now because he seems to be struggling. Psycho gained about 2 seconds. I personally would make the move now, but then again, at the same time, you would be vulnerable because Markula would then pick up the switch. It's a very complicated thing right now, and Psycho seems to be settling for second. He wants maybe to run a last 3 or
Everyone
2
in the stream
laps
chat wants to see Markula losing. Finally.
Oh, wow.
Giovanni,
I mean,
go, yeah.
Mark says it perfectly when he says aliens don't sweat.
Yeah.
It seems like Markula has a bit of a reputation for being an alien on track.
Yeah. And very
see,
close. And Psycho is on the
alien...
limit. Psycho is also very hard on the
yeah.
limit. And now, is he trying to overtake?
Is he gonna? No.
No.
Oh, maybe on the exit. Look at that. He takes a wider line on the entry. Trying to cut back here. Markula goes defensive. And around the outside, Psycho, is he gonna hold it there?
Oh my god.
No, Markula shuts the door on the exit. Wow.
Yeah, because Markula knows the strengths of his GTR. The GTR is like a bulldog out of corners because of his four-wheel drive. So he knows he has only to stay in front and then the car kicks out of the corner.
Yeah, but speaking of staying in front, the slipstream now for Psycho. Oh, no. But again, Markula had to go narrow into the corner, so maybe there's a chance opening up on the exit. Not yet. And now Markula's back on the racing line. I think this is going to be the game. Maybe until the end of the race. Psycho clips the grass and loses a second and more. Oh, that is unfortunate. I wanted to say that I think that's going to be the game. The different line choices and Markula defending and then being vulnerable on the exit.
But amazing catch from Psycho there that he didn't lose the car.
Yeah, that could have been a spin and maybe the end of his race if it goes really bad. But he held it, he caught it, and he just lost a second, which isn't that dramatic at the end of the day.
And Cobra cannot get away from Castor. Castor also pretty close to him.
I mean, to be fair, he's got 3 percentage points advantage in terms of
no, not in the main race. Only
power.
Only in the sprint race.
Sorry.
Only in the sprint race.
Sorry. Then he's doing a great job of just staying with Cobra here. He doesn't need those 3%. He shows that he can hang with a Super Pole contestant, by the way. Don't forget that. Cobra was a part of that. He can hang here with Cobra and maybe even overtake. Oh. Again, look at the lines, and here's the cutback. This is what I was exactly talking about with Psycho and Markula. The line game, the racing line game. Taking a wider entry, then the cutback on the apex.
Let's look at that again.
Exit,
he was preparing. He was preparing Cobra for that overtake. He was going. What an overtake!
I'm sorry to interrupt, but meanwhile, Psycho overtook Markula around the outside, and Markula decided, you know what, this is a good time to just go into the pits. Let him go. Markula now, I guess. Probably looking at that there's only 14 laps, you know, I would be surprised to see him come in another time. So I think this might be his last pit stop. But then again, he might struggle on the tires. He might. We've seen him struggle on the tires on the last stint. So I wouldn't put that past him, but he comes out in P7 now.
And the fight,
also in the pits.
the fight for position 3, so for the last podium place here, is also
now
opened.
P2.
Yeah, but it's
now P2.
Yeah,
but it will be P3 again once they.
So
Castor
Troy, Cobra, and Rouge are here pretty close for the last spot on the podium. So it will be very exciting to watch that fight here between these 3 drivers. So we have the pack of 2 drivers up in front. Then we have the 3 drivers fighting for the last spot on podium with Castor, Cobra, and Rouge. And then we have Lichi, followed by his manufacturer mate from Desmo Rider, 5 and 6, so they are also pretty close. Yeah, then we have Marcola, who was in the pits. And then we have Bedstead, Farboy, AP Meister, Kalam, and Magic World.
Sorry to interrupt again, but now Psycho in the pits.
I go now on Marcola.
Overcut.
Yeah. Let's see if Marcola can do that.
Castor also comes in, Castor Troy, whereas Rouge stays out. And Desmo Rider also seems to stay out, indeed. He stays on Marcola. Oh, let's see, where is Psycho? This is Psycho? Oh, here. Oh, wow, yeah. The undercut for Marcola definitely worked. We're talking 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, like I was talking, like for something like that.
Yeah, this time, yeah, sure. But I was talking about, like, in the first stint, the overcut was better because everyone was on pretty much a similar amount of fuel, and it was a very short stint. This time, obviously, it was a longer stint from about lap 6, 7, 8 now to lap 18, 19. And so here, the undercut showed to be better, but we have to say, Psycho obviously now with a slight advantage. His tires are 1 lap fresher than Marcola, so that might help him catch back up.
And we know that the GTR starts struggling with the tires, with the front tires. We know that.
Yes, we know that, and we can maybe see Psycho catch back up with Marcola and put him under pressure once again. We've seen that in the last stint. We might see this here again, as there are only 12 laps left. Rouge now coming in, Desmo Rider coming in. That means Marcola will reassume the lead. And Psycho back in second, Cobra third. Cobra also seems to have gained a little bit. Well, he overtook Castor Troy again. In the pits, it seems.
Yeah.
Okay. Rouge coming out between them. Oh my. So Troy not only lost the position to Cobra, he also lost the position to Rouge. Oh, that is unfortunate for him, but he's got the pace.
Like
Maybe
Mark
he
van
can get
Hayes,
those positions back
like
on
Mark
track.
van Hayes wrote now in the stream chat, 2.6 seconds is peanuts for Psycho, especially under pressure. Yeah, that's true. I think that's exactly the gap what Psycho needs to work here, that he goes in his working temperature. Yeah, because it's only 2.2, so Psycho is now completely on fire here, and he fires completely to his mate here up in front with Marcola. So we will see here finishing like it's word for the Division A. So Marcola has to drive here maximum pace what the GTR can go here, because Psycho, I'm pretty sure that Psycho will close up or will close the gap from 2.1 seconds. I think it will go a bit slower now, but I think in 3 or 4 laps he will close the gap pretty fast. 27.2 and 27.5. Look, he was 2.6 tenths faster than Marcola in the last lap. But look, Cobra drives only the same pace, almost the same pace like Marcola, his teammate, but he's touching now a bit the sand here out of the first corner.
Yeah, and that definitely slowed him down quite a bit. For Cobra, it's really about securing that third position. He's not looking ahead, he's looking behind. He's He needs to make sure that he's not driving in the rearview mirror, but at the same time, he always has at least half an eye on the rearview mirror in case the Rouge or Castor Troy get a little bit too close, maybe want to attempt an overtake. He needs to be able to defend there. But right now, the gap is looking good for him still. It's pretty much a second, just under a second. So he needs to manage that gap and keep... try to keep third place, and then he can celebrate a podium. But meanwhile, oh my! Meanwhile, Psycho is flying 1.5 seconds already.
Do we see now at 26 or made Makula a mistake? We will see that. I'm now on him.
Markula made a mistake, 28-0, but also Psycho 27-1. That is pretty much... That is very close to the fastest lap from Markula earlier in this race. So Psycho is flying, but Markula also seems to have made a little bit of a mistake. And this is the pressure. And
Psycho is driving a new fastest first sector. So Psycho now completely under fire, and Markula completely under pressure here from Psycho. But you know, closing the gap is something different than overtaking on that track. And Markula is also not a driver which you drive by like saying hello and you drive. You have to overtake Markula in a certain way, I think. Maybe you have to trick him a bit to open a gap somewhere, because usually Markula gives you no room to overtake. And yeah, we'll see how that goes here, but Psycho definitely opened now the finishing pressure, which he's usually doing. And yeah, I'm pretty sure in 1 or 2 laps we see here a new fastest lap from Psycho. Let's see that.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. But I think also that Markula will pick up his pace at least a little bit, not make mistakes. So this will be a 27 again from him. And indeed 27.5, but also a 20... Oh, only a 27.4. So that was only a 10th gained here for Psycho. 10th and a half. Oh, sorry, 10th and a half. But at this pace, we have 9 laps to go. All he needs is just over a 10th.
Mark van Hayes said, yeah,
lap.
when you overtake Markula, you have to salute. Because he's champion, yeah, of course. That's maybe a way to do it, yeah. You have to salute when you pass him.
I mean, you have to overtake in a certain way. Maybe that's part of it.
Yeah, maybe that's the certain way to do it.
Yes, it could very well be. But we are under a second now. Psycho is flying on this track. Well, back over a second, never mind. Yeah,
I mean, that's now a level.
This is gonna come down to the wire.
Yeah, they drive now on a level. They don't know the laps. They only see the opponent, the contender, and they are driving now not against laps anymore. They drive against the opponent on track, and you have no eyes for anything else anymore. They are now in their tunnel, and they don't see anything else anymore. I think not even the gap. Not even the gap they see anymore.
Probably.
I
mean, they see it like in front of their eyes. They're not looking at the time, at the numbers. They're just seeing, that's the guy. That's who I have to catch. Or in case of Markula, that's the guy behind me. That's who I need to keep behind.
But I have like a déjà vu. Like it's the same like last season on Interlagos. It feels like completely the same. Markula is leading the whole race, and in the last lap, then Psycho is hitting and he's overtaking. I'm looking very much forward to that. Let's see how that goes here.
Yeah, the only thing that might be a saving grace for Markula is that remember, he has a 4-wheel drive, which means even if he takes a narrower entry to a corner, he's gonna have a good exit speed, which will make it harder for Psycho to overtake him. So that might be the one silver lining for Markula. Otherwise, Psycho is fast on track. He closed the gap of 2.6 seconds within what was that now? 5 laps, 6 laps?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And also, if you look on position 3 and 4, the fight for the podium is still not finished. And also to have in mind that Castro is not far away, he's only 1.7 seconds behind the Rouge. That means also that if they start fighting and losing time, that maybe he can catch up as well. And the Rouge knows also how to overtake and how to drive fast, because he's Division B champion of last season. And the Rouge is trying on the inside, but no, it's not working that way.
But he might be. No, not yet. But
oh yes, he's trying. He's trying. No.
No, not yet. He was a little bit too far away for this one to work.
And Marco Lime Psycho also only 4 tenths.
Yep. If Cobra and Darush start fighting, they could invite Castrotroy back into this. Cobra, meanwhile, running very wide there on the exit of the Graham Hill bend.
Yeah, 2 tenths off from the 3 tenths off between the Rouge and Castrotroy. So they are closing the gap.
Yeah, and behind there's also Desmo Rider, who has his eyes on Castrotroy as well. So this could turn into a 4-way battle for the final spot on the podium.
And look, the fight between Marco Lime Psycho. Now it's open, guys. Look at that fight. We see now the fight going here completely, and Psycho is closing.
Into turn 1. I'm calling it into turn 1. Here we go. Psycho around the outside. Taking the wider entry. Cutting back.
And
getting
that's
a
it.
better exit. Marcola trying to defend, but he cannot do that. And
yeah, but he has to go inside now. He has to go. And now defend. And Marcola will try it on the outside. No.
Psycho has made the move stick. Psycho in the lead.
So Mercedes is leading 27. The first time here.
But the question now becomes Psycho with the mistake. I just wanted to say, the question now becomes, how is Psycho going to handle that lack of pressure? We know he's very good under pressure, but how is he going to handle that lack of pressure now that he's faster, he got past Marcola, and that's how he handled it. He made a mistake.
Yeah, really. Oh my god.
Oh my.
And the Rouge now under pressure from Castrotroy. What happened there? Castrotroy and Desmo Rider are completely now behind him.
Yeah, that allows Cobra to drive away a little bit. But this third place is
not secure, I would say.
It's not secure at all. No, it's
4 drivers.
Everyone has a chance here. Now the only question that I have is, what kind of impact did the slide that Psycho showed out of Surtees last lap, what kind of impact did that have on the tire wear? We know on this game, if you start to slide, your tires overheat and they wear out for that moment just a little bit faster. It takes a lot out of these tires to slide somewhere. And maybe we'll see a drop in pace from Psycho. It doesn't seem so though. I mean, he's
but you have also to have in mind. You have also in mind if your pulse is very high because you have overtaken and you're leading, and then you make a mistake like that where you have to rescue the car that you don't spin out into the wall, and then your pulse is very high, and then there are certain techniques where you bring your pulse a bit down because your pulse is that high that you can feel it, and you make mistakes because of that fact that you have that pulse. And now Castrotroy fighting against Desmo Rider, and Desmo Rider moved and passed Castrotroy after he made a mistake. He went a bit wide, and Desmo Rider now on new position 5. And also that fight made a little gap between the Rouge and him, but Castrotroy made another mistake? Yeah. He almost
went into the wall.
Yeah, I saw it. And now Castroy under pressure from Lychee, and Castroy has a front damage. 3 laps before the end, and Lychee can...
touch, he goes wide. But he keeps the position for now. It goes defensive into Druids. But Lychee around the outside. He might have a chance here into the Graham Hill bend, but no. Castroy very strong here on the inside, keeping the position. But this is not the last we've seen from these two either. So we've got to fight for P1, we've got to fight for P3, and we've got to fight for P6 now as well.
Yeah.
And Psycho last lap was gaining another 2.5 tenths on Markola. So he's back in that pressure mode, he's back in that focus mode. And this is something I've seen happen so often. That the moment you see your opponent in front of you, you're able to visibly see him on track. You see that car, you see these rear lights, is the moment you just get absolute laser focus.
Yeah.
And that happens with a lot of racing drivers. And the moment you're in front and you're just driving out there and you're not even seeing the guy behind, you're starting to overthink. Like, oh, I need to manage this, I need to manage that. And you're making mistakes. And the moment they come closer behind you, you start to overthink even more.
And
So
Psycho
maybe-
again, completely behind Markola.
Yeah, so Psycho mentally, psychologically, is in the much stronger position here. He can see him, he's got the laser focus. And Markola is probably thinking right now, how do I keep this guy behind me? He overtook me once. And he overtook me in Interlagos last season. How do I keep him behind me this time?
Yeah, the last main race
And here we
went
go, Psycho.
to Psycho, and Psycho now on the outside, but that's too risky on that corners here
Yeah.
to overtake on the outside. I mean, on the outside you're always the loser there.
Yeah, indeed. The best way to overtake, if you are on the outside, is to brake earlier than the guy on the inside, and just, again, try the switchback, the cutback, whatever you want to call it. On the apex, you take the inside line and you get the better exit, and you just swoop past your opponent to take the lead. Here we go.
And here we go
again, but Paddock Hill Bend is also not a good corner to be on the outside at. And Markola parking it on the apex pretty much, making sure he gets a good exit here, and doesn't allow the switchback in the first place. So Psycho now around the outside again in Druids, and again no chance. Again close, but no cigar. This is gonna go again. I said it before. This is gonna go down to the wire. We are 2 laps away from the finish. This is the penultimate lap. Markola running wide into the sand, and here is a chance for Psycho.
And now again side by side, we will see.
Yeah,
It goes down to
outside
the
again,
last
though.
lap, or is that now the move for? But no, that's too hard to overtake there, because you know also
Back.
Giovanni knows, also Psycho
No.
knows also that Markola has problems with his front tires, and staying on the outside is too dangerous, because Markola could go wide, and then when you are on the outside, then you're the loser there.
Yeah. If Markola on the inside goes wide and Psycho's on the outside,
And
they both
Desmo
go
Rider now
wide.
on position 4.
Yeah, he overtook the Rouge, and he is now... Oh, he is all over Cobra right now.
So-
And Cobra makes a mistake, slides into the Sheen curve, and Desmerado not able to capitalize on that mistake. Oh, that is unfortunate. Runs into the back of Cobra here. No damage, though, on either car. But, oh, Desmerado needs to find a way here. 1 more lap to go. Markola and Psycho in the last lap. Psycho showing himself in the rearview mirror, but Markola
And
still
Markola
holding on to
defends that
lead.
very well. And
he's
Desmo Rider
gonna
on
have to
3,
defend
and they
all
are
through
3
the lap.
wide for that third position.
And Rouge on the inside now into
And
Druids,
Rouge now on
and he will
position
take
3.
the position. And Desmerado's swiping through, getting another position here, going into 4th, and keeping Cobra very narrow. Cobra now runs him wide.
And
Oh my,
Cobra
that was
now
a
on
strong
3
move from
back.
Cobra. Oh boy.
It's crazy. He went from 3 to 5 and now back to 3.
Yeah.
And we have the fight in front
not
as well
over.
for the race win.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep an eye on both. Daruge now on the outside against Cobra, trying to get that move done, and he makes it.
He makes it. No, he goes
Goes
wide.
on the grass, but he makes the move stick.
Oh my god, that's
And
so
now
close.
Desmo on the inside. Desmo on the inside gets the
And side by
position,
side
but
on the last
goes-
corner, and Psycho tries it on the outside and he overtakes. He overtakes in the last corner and wins the race. Oh my fucking god, on the last
Wow.
corner. What the hell
Not
has he
just
done
the
there?
Last lap. Not just the
What
last lap, no,
the
last corner.
hell?
Now, the Rouge in 3, Cobra in 4. He's trying to run.
And
he's trying
Desmo
to run the
Rider
outside as well.
lost it.
Desmo made a mistake. He's down to 5th, and the Rouge, who just came up from Division B, and Cobra seems to serve a penalty. Or does he? Oh no, he lets Desmo Rider through. Maybe he thinks he was the one who caused the incident with Desmo Rider, and so he did the gentleman thing and let him through.
Castle
after
Troy
the
on
incident.
7.
I think that was what happened. Lychee on 6, Castle Troy down to 7th. Bedstead for boy will finish in 8th place.
But what
AP
the
Meister.
hell did Giovanni on that last corner? He was overtaking completely on the limit outside Marcola in the last fucking corner. Come on, guys. What was that for a move? I think in the stream I have to save the replay and we have to look because I couldn't make the replay there. What was that for a move?
That's 50 points for Psycho. Jesus, what a move.
And Magic World without tires now through the finish. What
Absolutely
was
incredible.
that in the last corner? I mean, the fight for position 3 went to the Rouge. It was very hard, but I think it was they left enough room to survive, I would say. But still, it was, I think, still, it was a hard but clean race all over the main race. But I'm completely shocked about that last corner move from Giovanni. That was another level. That was, like I said, he's concentrated till the end, and to overtake in the last corner the series champion Marcola, it's not like, yeah, I think he had no hands free for saluting Mark, so that's...
But the moment you said, I think he had no hands free, I was thinking, where are you going with this? But yeah, for saluting, yeah.
But I will invite
yeah.
Marcola and so on for the interview. Marcola.
And I'm trying to add up the scores right here to see who came out on top in the standings.
I think it will be Marcola.
I can confirm that. But I'm just, hold on, I'm sorting them all right now. So, okay. All right. So yes, it will be Marcola on top with 76 points, followed by Psycho with 64. So 12 points gap, which is not much. That's a 6th place in the sprint race, by the way. Then Daruge at 54. Then we've got Lychee at 49, Cobra 48, Desmond Rider 43, Castor 42. We're building a very good midfield here. 4 drivers within 7 points. And then we've got AP Meister 29, Bedstead for 25, Kalam 22, Magic World 15, and Tetsu Kubura. I don't know, does he get points as he did not finish the race?
We have to check that after the race. I mean, I don't want to say here now yes in the stream or no. Everything will be checked, and we have to wait because we have a own form where we can write reports, and we check then the replays and everything.
All right. So let's say with if he does not get any points, he would be at 4, If he does get points, he would be at 14. So either way, he's last, but the difference would be whether he's 1 point behind Magic World or 11.
So waiting now for the Rouge. I will invite him again. Rui. So yeah, but I think over a very nice opener of the season. We had a very interesting, exciting sprint race and also the main race. Yeah, what should I say? We had the fight for position 1, like in Division B, the whole race. It was like a mind game between Marcola and Psycho. And then we had the fight for position 3, which involved 4 cars, Cobra, De Rouge, and Castle Troy, almost the whole race, and Desmo. And at the end, De Rouge made it to position 3. Okay, I have to look why De Rouge is not coming into the party. No, it's coming. I have only to wait till his voice is on. Okay, seems that it has not worked.
He just left the party.
Yeah, because his voice was not activating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I hope that everybody who watched the stream today, in 2 weeks, we go to Spain, to Catalonia with the GT3s then. So we will see the all drivers which were driving today then with their GT3 cars of their manufacturer then on Catalonia. And yeah, we're looking forward to that one. And yeah, we will see how that goes. They're now in the party as well. So yeah, I say congrats to you guys for the podium in the main race. You made the big points today. I'm starting with the Rouge now. Yeah, you fighted the whole race for that podium, mate, and you did it then in the last lap. A huge fight between all 3 of you. It was a very hard fight, but in my opinion, it was never like there's something to report or something, because at the end you left enough space. Yeah, you left enough. It was hard, but fair enough, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and
very nice racing.
Yeah, and describe a bit your race day today.
Well, the first laps went pretty good. I made up, I think, 2 places, but then I screwed up a bit, so I went back to 8 or something. But the Audi doesn't consume that much fuel, so I had a bit of an advantage there. And then after my last pit stop, I came just in front of Castor Troy, and right behind him was Desmo Rider. And after that, I had a battle with Cobra and Desmo, and in the last 2 corners, I overtook them. So it was a pretty good win of a podium, I mean.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy race. So congratulations to you again, to your podium in the last lap. So and now,
thank you.
And now to the crazy ones at this race. Yeah, I mean more action. It was not. I think more action was not possible between you 2 guys. And I wanted to say in the last lap we said after before you came to the treats, we said that was the opportunity for Giovanni, for Psycho to overtake Makola, and the rest of the course is maybe too narrow and not possible to overtake really the GTR. And then you did that overtake in the last corner. I mean, how?
I don't know how to say it. I channel my inside, you can say.
Your power.
Basically drifted. I don't know how I managed to hold the car. I basically drifted around the corner.
Have you saluted when you overtook Marcola?
No, because I was having a heart attack while I was taking the corner. So basically the 200 meters that separated me the corner from the finish line, I did not remember anything. Really.
Okay, okay.
I blacked out completely.
Because we were talking in this in the stream chat was talking about Markula, how to overtake him and what's the proper way to do that, and Mark wrote then in the stream chat to salute when you overtake him. and then we were guessing then what you did when you have overtaken him, and I said you have to use both hands or arms for that move on the outside, so you had no hand free to salute in that moment. But I would like to hear Markula what he was thinking in the last corner, overtake on the outside. I mean, come on, I think you were not prepared for that move.
No man, it was insane. I wasn't thinking like he could go on the outside there. I did brake a little bit early, so that was a little mistake of mine. And I also had like a little fuel problems, so I was out of fuel like, I don't know, 50 meters before the start finish line.
Okay.
So it was like on the straight before the right corner. It was like a little short shifting. I had to like save the fuel with fuel consumption on like 2. So that's why I don't know, man. I like braked a little bit early because of that, because of the short shifting. So he could like go on the outside and overtake me. But it was a really amazing move by him. I wasn't prepared for that.
It was a very amazing move. Too bad I couldn't get that move again in the replay, because it was
an amazing race also against
really
him. All the laps. It was really fun to drive against him.
Yeah, Psycho needs a bit of pressure. He's not working without pressure. That's the problem with him. When he's driving alone without pressure, he's not working. It's like an engine which gets no fuel. His fuel is the pressure, and the pressure was you today that you made you were the pacemaker up in front, and Psycho had always to close the gaps, and then finally he was overtaking you, and then he directly made a mistake because the pressure went away.
I don't want to talk about it. Really.
And I was also struggling with tires, man. It was also crazy.
Yeah, I was struggling with the grass, so it's even.
Then
I took a little bit too less fuel on the first pit stop, so I had to go like 1 lap earlier on the second. So that was also a little mistake, I would say.
Yeah, but still, I would say great race from all drivers of the Division A today. It was everywhere fighting and a very good pace from all drivers. And yeah, I say thank you to all drivers today. Also to my co-streamer today. It was a pleasure to stream with you. I'm looking forward to the next streams with you.
Oh, thank you very much for having me.
I'm glad to have you. So to have you here, I think we team up pretty well. And yeah, I say thank you also to the people in the stream which are still in the stream and watching and listening to the post-race interviews here with our main race podium. Next week we have a race-free week. And in 2 weeks we go then, or we have the next round 2 of the EGTM Manufacturer Cup then on Catalonia with the GT3s, back in action with our Division B and with our Division A, starring with Markula, Psycho and De Rouge from the podium today. And yeah, then I say good night, and yeah, follow us on egtm.racing or even join me on Discord. The link is in the description. Also, you can check out the stream or the Twitch channel from Bad German, the co-streamer from today. He's a streamer there, so check out his channel on Twitch. And yeah, if you want to support the EGTM, you can also support us with a small donation. The link to our PayPal account is also in the description, so feel free to support us a bit. And also the partner link from Fanatec and MMOJ are in the stream description. So yeah, I say thank you to all of you. And yeah, we'll see us in 2 weeks, I would say. So I say good night and have a good rest and a nice weekend.